Coming to the Tainted Tavern, come sit a while for free. We talk about our musings and devices we've been using.
Okay, hello and welcome once again to the Tainted Tavern. Today I've got a beer review for you, and I'm going to do a proper West Country classic today, and that is Otter Ale, which comes from the Otter Brewery, which is situated near Devon. It's labelled as a classic award-winning ale. It comes in at 4.5%. The back of the bottle tells us that relaxing with an otter is a pastime enjoyed by Devonians and visitors alike. Now it's in bottles. Otter Ale can also be enjoyed in the comfort of your own home. It's a real fireside beer that blends some of Devon's best men's otter malt, English friggles and Challenger hops, and is then lovingly brewed with our very own water from the head springs of the River Otter. The perfect taste of Devon. That's what it says anyway, but we're going to give this a taste now. I'm smoking a Peterson spigot pipe here. It was a green spigot, but over time the green stain has come off, which apparently was a fault with these pipes according to some people, but I like it. I prefer the more natural brown that you get in there. I'm going to bring this closer to the lens there, so you can see where the green has come off there. I just like it like this. It looks more natural. And of course I'm smoking, did I say I was smoking Squadron Leader in here, which is a fine English tobacco from Samuel Garwith Hogarth, who fell out and are now friends again. You'll have to check out my other video for the story of the scandal that rocked the Kendall Lake District to its very foundations. So anyway, let's get the beer poured. Get out my faithful Swiss Army knife here and open the bottle opener tool. Crack this beer. Now I'm going to drink this in a dimple glass because it's a traditional style beer, and therefore I feel it deserves a traditional vessel. So let's get it poured. Then we'll enjoy our pipe, have a quick chat, and talk about what I've experienced from this beer. We don't see Otter beers in local supermarkets, but I recently went up to Minehead, to the Butlins for a 70s weekend, which was great fun, and I purchased this in one of the supermarkets up there. This is a 500ml bottle, so it's not quite a pint, but you can see it's got a reasonable head there, so I haven't got all of the liquid into the glass yet. It's got at least a 2-finger head there. It's a nice deep, not even amber, more of a brown ale colour, but very transsucculent. You can see straight through it, and the carbonation is at the proper level for an old school bitter style beer, and I still call beers bitters. These days most breweries seem to have dropped the word bitter. Not all, there are still bitters out there, but they tend to call them pale ales or certain types of ales. To me, a bitter is a bitter, and this to me is a bitter style. The bottle itself tells me that it's fresh ale and a classic award-winning ale. Otter Brewery, Devon. Right away on the nose, a nice hoppy, beery aroma. That's delicious. Quite delicious. I watched the Peaky Blinders movie this last week on Netflix. It called The Immortal Man, and it ties up the story of Thomas Shelby. I was a bit disappointed that Arthur wasn't in there. He was killed off screen, but I believe the actor who played Arthur has been going through a lot of problems, and he wasn't available for filming because of personal problems, and so they killed him off. off screen, which is understandable, of course, but it was rather a sad way for him to go, because he'd been such a pivotal part of Peaky Blinders season 1 to, was it 6 seasons or 7? I think it may have been 6. And all of the seasons anyway, he played such a major role. But yeah, he was killed off screen, killed by his own brother, Thomas Shelby. And sorry if that's a spoiler if you haven't seen it yet. I'll try not to give any more away. But I very much enjoyed the movie, and I think the way it ended was inevitable. I'm not going to give that away, because there's a new Peaky Blinders series now in pre-production. I believe it's in the pre-production stage, featuring a new generation of Shelbys during the Second World War. So that'll be interesting. Stephen Knight, the writer, is a very busy man at the moment. I know he's writing the new James Bond movie, which is in production now from Amazon, after Barbara Broccoli decided to kill off the franchise with firstly the curious casting of Daniel Craig, and then the direction the movies went in. Yes, they made money, but let's be honest, they were pretty shite. Apart from Skyfall, the Casino Royale. Spectre has its moments. I really enjoy this Squadron Leader Tobacco. Another film I watched is I Swear, which is the drama about a person with Tourette's, based on a true story, of course. That was wonderful, absolutely wonderful. The humour was there, you know, obviously a lot of the swearing and so forth. You find it humorous watching it, you can't help but laugh. So, you know, his social, or this chap who offers him a job, asks him if he can make a cup of tea, and he says, yes, but for milk. It just makes you laugh. But I came away from I Swear with, I think, a better understanding of what Tourette's is. It's an horrendous condition. I should have prepared for this video and researched the actual name of the chap who the story I Swear was based on, but it's completely coming off the cuff in conversation in this video. I mean, this is intended to be a beer review, but here at the Tainted Tavern we often go off on a tangent, and the stories flow as quickly as the booze. The booze. It's old Peterson. I mean, I've got a lot of pipes in my collection, nothing majorly expensive. My most high-end pipes are probably my Petersons. And I've got several Petes, but I really like the pipes. The pipes I tend to smoke more than any others lately are my Morgan Bones pipes. I've got 2 of those, but also my Falcons. My Falcons are always in rotation. I do love my Falcons. Should we go back to the beer? Okay, so, as I say, a lovely red, browny red colour in the glass. Let's get the rest of it in the glass now, we've got enough room there. It's beer o'clock, as they say. Sure, it's very oaty, hoppy, some treacle. This is a proper beer. This is the type of beer that Inspector Morse would approve of. None of those dumb continental lagers, Lewis. Give me a real beer. A beer that put A's on your chest. And this quite possibly could put A's on your chest. In fact, I could do with a bit of A's, so maybe it's an experiment. We'll come back and have a check of that in a couple of weeks' time. But seriously, it's a decent beer. Lovely taste. Beer taste, fresh. I've got a lot of videos planned coming up on this channel. Keep losing my lighter over the next few weeks. Of course, I mentioned that I've just signed a contract for a new book with my publisher, Pen and Sword Books. Then my next book, which is going to be coming out next year, is going to be published under the White Owl imprint. Really pleased to have got this commission. I pitched the book. It's about Elvis Presley, sort of, but I'm not going to go into too much detail at the moment. That'll come in future videos. But just lately I've been living with Elvis Presley. I've been playing the music, I've been reading books, I've been watching a lot of the old Elvis movies, and that can be hard work. I mean, don't get me wrong, Elvis did several really good films, at least 2 classics, but some of his movies are dire. But anyway, my Elvis book is not a traditional Elvis book. Most Elvis books look at the story of Elvis, they analyze the music. My book comes at it from a totally different angle, which I'm not going to give away at this stage. Probably one of the saddest stories in rock and roll, the Elvis Presley story. I think he deserves the moniker of the king of rock and roll. He may not have exactly invented rock and roll, and there's much debate of what was the first rock and roll record. Was it Rocket 88, you know, which also came out from the Sun label, which started Elvis Presley off. But Elvis may not have exactly invented rock and roll music, or rockabilly music, because early Elvis was that rockabilly hip cat. He may not have actually invented it, but he definitely popularized it more than any other artist during that period, 1956 onwards. He definitely deserved the moniker, the king of rock and roll, despite what Jerry Lee Lewis did. And there's an interesting story there about Jerry Lee Lewis and Elvis. How Jerry Lewis turned up at Graceland one night, completely slaughtered, the worse for wear, for alcohol and probably some illicit substances, and basically wanted to fight Elvis because he felt he was the king of rock and roll and not the pelvis. But that's an interesting story, and I'll cover that in a future video. Anyway, that's all I've got for now, so thanks for watching. Please subscribe to this channel. It doesn't cost you anything, and it will help the channel grow, and I'd really appreciate it. But give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment down below. Let's talk beer, let's talk pipe tobacco, let's talk rock and roll. A 1, 2, 3, let's go. You know, let's